How's it going, Fins fans? It's your boy Dillon again, and I know I just did a video earlier today, episode 6 of my Miami Dolphins podcast, but I just came across this article from the Miami Herald, by Barry Jackson, and I just wanted to make a quick video. So this will be episode 6 of my Miami Dolphins podcast, extras. So here's the article, and it reads as thus. At the MGM Grand and 11 other Las Vegas casinos, no AFC team has longer odds of winning the Super Bowl, 80-1, than the Dolphins, according to a spokesman for those dozen MGM properties. And those are in line with odds put forth by other online and in-person gambling establishments. Meanwhile, Sports Illustrated predicts the Dolphins will go 3-13. But what if this national perception is wrong? What if these Dolphins, who get back their starting quarterback, are closer to the team that went 10-6 in 2016 than the one that went 6-10 in 2017? Pro Football Focus recently listed the Dolphins among 5 teams that could surprise with an NFL wildcard appearance in 2018, along with Houston, Washington, Chicago, and the Los Angeles Chargers. Here was Pro Football Focus's case for the Dolphins. The key to the Dolphins making a surprise push for the playoffs is getting quarterback Ryan Tannehill healthy and keeping him that way. Tannehill might not be an elite signal caller, but he has produced a Pro Football Focus grade between 80.9 and 85.1 every season of his career so far. That will put you among the top 50%, so that means the top 16 quarterbacks top 50% of quarterbacks in the NFL every season, and with enough help around him, he gives you a chance to win. The Dolphins have made additions on offense, adding guard Josh Sitton, who has allowed just 18 total pressures on 856 pass blocking snaps over the past 2 seasons, and slot receiver Albert Wilson. Wilson replaces Jarvis Landry, who dominated out of the slot, but Wilson was no slouch, producing a Pro Football Focus grade of 77.1, and he will have the opportunity to flourish in the Dolphins system. Defensively, Robert Quinn is the big addition up front, but despite him racking up 10 sacks in 2017, we haven't seen any real consistency from him as a pass rusher since his 2-year performance between 13 and 14, with just 81 total pressures over the past 3 seasons. The key addition on defense is first-round defensive back Minkah Fitzpatrick, who showcased the ability to play safety and in the slot at Alabama, and should bring that versatility to the Dolphins. Pro Football Focus also noted that Minkah Fitzpatrick allowed a passer rating of 59.9 since 2016, lowest of any defensive back in this year's draft class. So what if Tannehill plays like the quarterback who was 12th among NFL starters in passer rating at 93.5 in 2016 before his injury, ahead of Matt Stafford, Russell Wilson, and Phillip Rivers, among many others? What if Kenyon Drake plays over a full year like the player who was 6th in the NFL in rushing average at 4.8 last season and averaged more yards after contact than any other NFL running back over the final 5 weeks? What if Mike Gesicki, the Dolphins' highest draft pick at tight end this century, becomes as skilled an NFL player as he was in college? What if these skilled top 5 receivers, Devontae Parker, Kenny Stills, Danny Amendola, Albert Wilson, and Jakeem Grant, rank among the top 3 quintets in the AFC? What if this offensive line with 2 first-round picks, Laramie Tunsil and Juwan James, and a 4-time Pro Bowler, Josh Sitton, blossoms? What if Robert Quinn at 28 is anything close to the player who had 19 sacks 5 years ago? What if Raekwon McMillan becomes Miami's best middle linebacker since Zach Thomas? What if Xavier Howard starts playing routinely like the guy who was exceptional in that Patriots Monday night game? What if Minkah Fitzpatrick solves the Dolphins' problem of being repeatedly victimized by opposing tight ends? It's unlikely the Dolphins get the best possible answers to all 8 of those questions, but it wouldn't be shocking if half or even more materialize. And that's why predictions of 4 or 5 wins seem to be short-selling this roster's potential. So that's the majority of it. But then he goes on a little bit and says, found it interesting that Pro Football Focus noted Minkah Fitzpatrick played only 7% of his snaps at safety for Alabama last season. He played 64% at slot cornerback and 20% at linebacker. Pro Football Focus listed 20 players on new teams that are expected to make an immediate impact, and 2 were Dolphins, Josh Sitton and Fitzpatrick, which I mentioned earlier in the full video earlier on today. On Sitton, Pro Football Focus said, Sitton, a 10-year veteran guard and former 4th-round pick, has flown under the radar as one of the league's premier talents. He has now earned an 85 plus overall grade for 9 consecutive seasons, all while playing at least 700 offensive snaps in each of the 9 seasons. Trading Chicago for Miami, Sitton's consistency and veteran presence should have an immediate positive effect on the Dolphins locker room and offensive line as a whole. On Fitzpatrick, Pro Football Focus said, slotted as our number 3 overall cornerback entering the 2018 NFL Draft, Fitzpatrick is a proven playmaker with great versatility in the secondary. The former Alabama product earned 81 plus overall grades in each of his 3 seasons in Tuscaloosa and allowed just a 66.5 passer rating when targeted in his career. So, just real quick, I wanted to say that I think it's highly probable, in fact, that at least half of those 8 questions that he posed will come to fruition, and we are going to have a fantastic year. Alright, Dolphins, just wanted to throw that in real quick. If you like it, hit the like button, share it around, subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.